Hello, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And tonight we're talking about Facebook ads of all things. But before I do that, let me just say to you, if you are here, this show is for the rest of us. This is a show about marketing, but it's not about marketing like most people teach marketing. This is exactly why I created this program this podcast, because I felt like all the people preaching marketing talk about SEO, they talk about algorithms, they have big budgets, they have big teams, and I felt like I didn't have all that. And I felt like I was left out. Not only was I left out, but people like me, our tribe, people who are people-oriented, not technology-oriented, we were being left out in all the trainings. And so I've taken my 17 years of failing forward, and since 294 episodes into this show, we've been talking about how to market in a heart-centered way that reaches the heart and soul of other people. And so I want to pick up today on that theme, right, with this heart-centered approach to reaching people. And we are going to talk about Facebook ads a little bit, but I'm going to put it inside of the context of how I taught it yesterday. So I have two programs that people start with me. The first is called the Groundswell Method Intensive. It's a 6-week program. We go to work on your message and create your own show in the world. And then the second program is called the Fetch. And the Fetch is what I'm going to talk about tonight. The Fetch is where once you have your message, we can actually start to talk about how to create your programs. Like, how do you actually start to create programs that people want to be a part of? And not just create the program, but how do we start to build out the typical things in marketing that are taught? But you can see that the typical things taught in marketing only happen after we can get the message. And most people do that backwards, by the way. They teach you all the things like landing pages and emails and podcast creation thingies, right? Before we actually get dialed in on the message. Interestingly, can't remember if I said this to you yesterday or not, but interestingly, there are like 700,000 podcasts in the world, over 700,000 podcasts. And I would say the majority of them don't have more than 5 or 10 episodes. And again, that's because people don't know. They get all excited about the tool of it all, but don't actually know what they want to say. And so they run out of steam. They run out of what to say and then don't continue. Okay. All that to say, right? When you think about what we're doing in marketing, we are creating relationship. I've said so many times now that marketing is about you leading a conversation in the world. And as you lead this conversation in the world, what happens is people will find your message. Now, you can help that message get found by either networking. I call that proximity, right? Like networking your show into the lives of other people. The other way you can do it is through Facebook ads or other kinds of advertising, right? You could spend money. So that spending money could be Facebook ads. It could also be sponsoring events, whatever, but you're spending money to put your show in front of people. Okay, so that's how we find people. But now, once we find them, there has to be a fostering of this relationship, because most of your leads are not now leads. Most humans, at the time they find your content, are not ready to do business with you. By the way, this came up yesterday in the training. You don't necessarily want the ones who want to work with you right now. And I think the way we said it yesterday was, it's kind of like, if somebody, you just met somebody and they got all hot and heavy about wanting to date you right away and got overly committed and overly serious, you'd be like, whoa, let's just get to know each other for a minute. Slow down. It's the same energy when somebody just meets you for the first time and they come in hot and heavy on your business. Sometimes what's happening is they're looking for a savior. They're looking for you to save them in their dire straits of something, and that often doesn't work out well. So you want to have a time period of getting to know each other. You need some space to germinate, to gestate the relationship. And so it's one thing to have somebody find your content in marketing But now the real work begins. And if you really want to scale your business, this is it right here. It's in the fostering of relationships. So to that end, the headline of this particular post, right, is never stop investing in the relationship. So once people find, and by the way, most people are good at I don't even know if they're good at it, but they put a lot of energy into finding people. But once you find people, you don't do a great job of fostering relationship with people. I've said this to you so many times that having a show is one of the ways that allows you to stay in a relationship with people over time. If you don't have a show, you don't have a good, efficient, scalable way to maintain relationship. If you don't have a show, what are you going to do? Handwritten notes? What are you going to do? Call them every week? Look, if you had a weekly show, mine's daily, but if you had a weekly show, at least your show would be in front of them on a weekly basis. But if you don't do a show, you can't call them every week. That would be clingy. That would be weird. You can't write a handwritten note every week. That also would be weird and extremely inefficient. So how will you foster relationship with these people on a frequency that actually deepens the relationship? If you don't have a show, I don't know what else you would use. You could say, oh, well, I post on social media 5 to 7 times a day, 80% about my personal life and 20% about my business life, just like all the marketing gurus say. Yeah, but if you don't frame, most people that post on social aren't leading a conversation. They're just posting, trying to be present. But being present and leading a conversation are different things. The way we teach marketing, okay, inside of Groundswell, is that you're leading a conversation. So this leading of the conversation is about you fostering relationship. And once you find somebody who's interested in what you have to say, they actually like your take on things, this is where we want to begin to invest in relationships. And this is where ads come in. So one of the easiest things you can do is take a post that you've done, a video like this, for example, and boost it to the people who have shown interest. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do the full episode, like this episode might end up being 8 to 12 minutes long. I don't know. We'll see. So if you don't want to do a full episode, then you could take a 30-second clip, a 60-second clip, a 2-minute clip, and you could take that clip, put it on your page, and then boost that clip to the people who have shown interest. Now, how often should you boost that post? Well, I think you should have new content getting boosted to people on a weekly basis. So new content, that would be, to make it super simple, that'd be one ad a week that you spend money on to invest in the relationship. Not because you're asking them to do business with you, but simply because you want to be of service to them. You want to be present, right, with them, with those who have shown interest. Okay, now how do we do that with a Facebook ad? Like, how do I know who's interested? Well, this is not the best way. This is an easy way, would be to simply boost your post to your fans, the fans of your page. If they've already liked your page, then in some way or another, they've shown interest in you, okay? Now, a better way, because you don't really know who liked your page, but here's a better way. But it's more advanced, right? And that is beginning to build audiences of people in Facebook who have watched 50% or more of a previous videos. Right? Now you can do that inside of Ads Manager in Facebook. You can actually build an audience of people who have watched 25% or more, 50% or more, 75% or more. I typically will just go with 50%. People who have watched 50% of a video. So if I take a 2-minute clip and I boost it to, let's say, now we're really getting into the ad strategy here. If I take a 2-minute clip and I boost it to an audience on Facebook that I think would like what I have to say, and I ask Facebook to build a second audience of people who watched 50% of that video, now I can start to see who's interested. Now, of those people who are interested, I can actually start to stay in front of and stay connected to, stay related to those people by boosting content every week. Okay. This is how we can invest in the relationship. And what I'm saying to you is that the real scale of impact and income happens in the fostering of relationship with those who are interested, right? Remember, most people you find today are not ready to do business with you today. The relationship takes time to germinate, to gestate. It takes time. And so, but if you don't follow up, if you don't foster that relationship, what happens is you have a revolving door and a karmic loop on the front end of your marketing where you never gestate a relationship. So you need a way to invest in. The reason I love ads, and by the way, on Facebook, you can run ads for as little as $1 a day. So your monthly budget at the minimum could be $30 a month. That is not a lot of money to invest in relationship. Just start there and get in the habit of it, right? Just start at $1 a day and get in the habit of investing in relationships forever. Okay. All right. So that being said, by the way, this is the kind of work we do in my second program called The Fetch, right? Like once you have a message, you can't invest in ads in a relationship if you don't even know what the relationship is built around. What is the conversation or the idea that this whole relationship is built around? If you don't have that, then you're wasting money in ads because you're going to be trying to spend money to boost a post about what? About something you're not even clear on. You can't build a relationship from that. So this is why in the first program, in the Groundswell Method Intensive, we go to work on your message, because your message is the idea. It's the thing that people actually want to get to know you for. Once you have that, then you can go into all the marketing stuff, like the Facebook ads and the landing pages and all the stuff, right? You can do all that stuff. And that's what we go to work on for 8 weeks in the Fetch. And yesterday was week 6, where we actually talk about how do we use technology, as in Facebook ads, to foster relationship over time. And this is why somebody yesterday in the class said, I didn't know I could be so inspired by a training on Facebook ads. In fact, she came into the training yesterday a little bit like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to get anything out of today. This is about Facebook. I don't know. And then, but because the frame of this conversation is about relationship, that is why this training for the rest of us, those of us who are heart-centered, those of us who want to invest in relationships, that's why this training was so powerful. Because we're not using ads to manipulate people and try to have somebody buy our stuff. We're using ads to actually make the relationship better. So when you think that way in marketing, about marketing actually becomes this amazing spiritual practice for you, but an amazing relationship builder with you and them. Okay. So I'll say it one more time. Never stop investing in the relationship. The relationship. And what's so beautiful about technology in this day and age is that if you do it right, you can create relationship at scale. And that's such a weird paradox to say, because you wouldn't think that you could create relationships which seem like they need to take time face to face. But in fact, in reality, I've found that it's not true. I can go to events, I can meet people for the first time who have listened to my podcast over and over again, and what they say to me is, I feel like I know you. Like there's actually a relationship there. They're like, wow, I feel like I know you. And there's rapport, there's trust, there's all this stuff. Why? Because they've gotten to know me over time. So you can actually create relationship at scale. And when you approach marketing that way, from a place of relationship, it actually makes a difference for them and for you. So that's it, gang. Tonight, I just wanted to encourage you to never stop investing in the relationship. And the way that we teach marketing here at Groundswell is about relationships first, right? Build relationships, because that is where it's at. So if you'd like help building relationships, you can go to groundswellmethod.com. The link is in the text of this post. There are some free videos there. You're going to watch the free videos, and on the last page of those videos is an application button for our next upcoming 6-week program. The 6-week program is with me. There's 2 hours of training a week plus 2 one-on-one coaching calls with me. Okay, you and me. Okay, so fill out the application. It comes to me, and at the time of this recording, the next intensive is March 2nd. It starts March 2nd, so it's around the corner. It's coming up. You have time to fill out an application. Thanks for hanging out with me here tonight in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow, when we go live again, here's to you never stopping investing in the relationship. See you tomorrow.